Maybe maybe you want to go ahead, Jerica?
Hmm.
Great, Milwaukee. So I
Yeah.
think given the time zone, we will have more people from, based in the US. Last year, we tend to do some webinars, for each time zone. We just decided to do one for all, and we'll share, of course, the recordings with everyone that joined. Great. So I suggest we can start. I know that today we have a pretty high number of people that registered to this webinar. I would say that half of them are existing users of the Presti platform, and the other half are basically people that that are a bit curious and want to know about the Presti platform. Of course, we really try during this presentation to really bring value to both of you. And yeah, of course, just for that reason, we're gonna give a quick intro about who we are so that you have all the context. Welcome back, Brad. Great to see you again. Just a quick intro about who we are. So my name is Hamza. I'm one of the co-founders of Presti AI. If you're not familiar with the company, we have the company was created a bit more than 3 years ago. We are a visual production platform. I will tell you more about that. Maybe you want to go ahead, Jerica.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. I'm Jerica Zarek, Senior Account Executive at Presti. I work with furniture retailers, manufacturers, pretty much anyone in kind of the home space, every day to kind of help solve the challenges that you guys are all living on a day to day, right? How to produce visual content at the speed and scale your catalogs demand without burning out your teams, right? So I've spent a lot of time inside of these workflows from like making white sweeps consistent, dimension drawings, infographics, lifestyles, videos, all of that stuff. So I'm really excited today to get practical with you on how to ship more visuals without growing your headcount.
Great. Thanks, Jerica. Of course, I mean, if you know the history of Presti, you know that we are very biased towards the home and living industry. We've made sure during these webinars, we know that there are people not from this industry to also present some other use cases that could be relevant. Anyway, the learnings will be shared across industry. So I'm going to share my screen and so that we can, start the presentation. Great. So up. Jerica, you confirm you see my slide, correct?
Yes, we see it.
Just a quick intro about what is Presti. So Presti is an AI visual production platform to scale product imagery. We have more than 500 clients worldwide. Some are retailers, some are manufacturers, some are leading companies, some are smaller players. Overall, the platform is really meant for anyone that want to scale their visual content, no matter what is your company size. We have a funding of $3.6 million that we've done in 2024. I just shared that information, usually to say that will not disappear in 1 month. And finally, we are backed by Y Combinator. If you're not aware of this accelerator, it's famous for having invested on Airbnb, DoorDash, Dropbox, and many new AI companies, as you may be aware. And overall, I often hear the feedback that tools can become obsolete so in a couple of months, so it's not worth investing in AI tools. To be honest, I agree with that statement. Tools can become obsolete, and the great proof of that is that we didn't hesitate to rebuild Prezi from scratch almost because the technology has evolved. But what is not obsolete is the team, and so that's why we really see us as partnering with our clients to always bring them the state of the art in terms of AI visual production. What we're going to cover today, four topics. First of all, just a quick intro about the shift from prompting to using an agent. So for the ones that have been using the previous version of Presti, it was more like how the question was, how can I find the right prompt, how to prompt the tool. Now it's basically how to work with an agent, and the logic is different. The second topic is we've prepared some demos on various use cases. Some are home related, some non-home related, to really show you all the potential of the Presti Scale platform. Then just some kind of best practices that we wanted to share with you on how to scale your content production without necessarily growing your team. And finally, of course, I always want to keep 15 minutes of Q&A at the end. We've seen it during the previous webinars. People tend to ask a lot of questions. So let's make sure we keep that time.
And also, like, feel free to chat, right? Like, throw any of your questions into the chat or into the Q&A, and I will also, if I can answer something in real time, I'll do that for everyone as well.
Great. Thank you, Jerica. So let's start with this first intro. I think you will all agree that AI has slashed the visual production costs. You could create great image sometimes in a couple of seconds. But you will also agree, I guess, that it still takes hours and sometimes weeks to produce a large batch of visuals, whether it's images or videos. So why is that the case? So we've done some kind of investigation to understand where people are spending a lot of time today when they are running an AI production project. And what we discovered is that, and you might be all already aware of this, is that they are spending time clarifying the brief at the beginning from the stakeholder that they receive. Sometimes things are not clear, you need to do some kind of back and forth. Then they need to process the data to find the right input, but also to structure the data the right way. Then they also need to find the right prompt based on the guidelines that were shared. So that's also pretty time consuming. Sometimes you also need to find the right prompt for your project requirements. And what that means is that you need to set up the tool for the 2K resolution for the right aspect ratio. All of this could make you spend some time. You need also to iterate on the prompting, and that's of course a true fact because you won't get the perfect result in one shot. Sometimes you just need to keep retrying, taking into account some kind of limitations that you see. And finally, you need to do some kind of validation and alignment with the stakeholders that express the initial requests. So overall, when you look at this, you realize that prompting for sure can be a bottleneck, but so everything that goes into building the right prompt with the right input. And what we want to show today is that all those steps can be drastically reduced working with an agent rather than prompting a tool. I wouldn't say that they will all disappear, but they will definitely be way more productive using AI agents. So one thing I wanted to clarify just before jumping into the demos is that people tend to use now the word agentic agent very easily, and because it became almost some kind of buzzy word, and not everyone is clearly aligned always on what does that mean concretely, and yeah, what does that implies. So I wanted to clarify things very quickly on what is an agent. So you're all familiar with what is a chatbot, and you know that you need to prompt the chatbot every time when you want to ask and receive questions. But the difference with an agent is that an agent doesn't talk; it's doing things. So if you do some kind of parallel comparison, you could say that the chatbot is a brain in a jar. So it will think and answer questions, but it can't touch the world. It will just answer by saying, "Here's how you could do it." On the opposite, an agent is more a brain with hands, meaning that you just give it a goal and it goes and gets it done. It will just come back to you with done, here's the result. So if we want to give a very simple definition of what is an agent is a brain. By the way, in terms of technical terms, we use an LLM, which is a pretty common term as well. So that you all know ChatGPT, etc. They are well-known LLM. So they are basically the brain behind that is able to reason and decide. And then on top of this brain, you're adding some tools, which are basically its hands, and they are basically picking up things and doing it. So that's a simple definition of an agent.
Anyone that's been in my sales demos too, I sometimes use the analogy of like it's like a very basic intern at first, and we have to like give that agent like skills, right, in order to like make it full-time employee, right? That sort of thing. So that's sometimes an easier way to kind of think about it to in a very layman's terms.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, the question is also what are these tools that I'm mentioning that you add on top of the brain? And that could be, as you mentioned, Erica, some skills, which are basically some instructions it pulls out only when needed. And we will show you how to create those skills on the Presti Scale platform. It could be some functions like a calculator doing 2 plus 2. It could be some sub agents, meaning some kind of specialist you call upon a request. And finally, it could be some backends, meaning almost a real computer that will open files, run code, save you work. So overall, if we take a simple example, such as asking the agent to turn this product page into a clean pack shot, what will happen is that the brain will decide what to do, and then the tools will do the doing, which means reading the page, grabbing the recipe, cleaning the image, handing it back. So that's the agent. And what that means, Jerica, also to your point, is that as you know, the brain now with those all those LLMs are already very powerful, almost more intelligent than a human. If you want to really make someone an agent, almost an employee, you need to give it as many tools as possible, including some tools that are proprietary to your company, like your PIM system, your DAM system. And that's only basically connections in order to be able to do that. I hope maybe I got some questions on the agent, but I will leave it up until the end. So what use cases does that unlock? And that will be the focus of today. Four use cases. The first one, which will be creating lifestyle images, but in batch. So here we will create 50 images for 50 SKUs. And for each image, we want to create three variants depending on the persona that the company is targeting. Then I want to show you a long editorial video that we will create. Also, I think it will be an interesting use case. Also showing you how to create a UGC video where you have like some kind of real user showing how your product works. And then we'll also do a fashion a use case, which is pretty common, the virtual try-on use case. And we've really tried to pick one product category each time, but again, it shows the best practices which are across industry. The things that we will not show you today, and we just had to pick the best use cases, will be pack shot creation and especially how to apply a specific background with shadows on a given product. We won't show you how to create infographics, which is a pretty interesting use case where an agent can basically go on your product page, pick the information that are described on the product, and then create the infographic respecting your brand guidelines. Close-ups also is not something we will show you. Creating variants, I know it's pretty common in the furniture industry to, wanting to be able to swap colors, swap fabrics. The dimensions is also something you could create on the platform. Creating 360-degree video is also something possible. Showing the product in real usage. And finally, ads, meaning creating an image on top of which you add some text on it. So all those are use cases that are possible with the platform, but not the deep dive of today. Great. So now let's move on with the first use case, and just to give you a bit of context of this use case is about, which is, I think, by the way, it's the one that is most commonly asked and used today on the platform. So I think it will be very relevant for all of you. Here we're gonna take the example of a brand. We called it Beaumont Forêt, I think, that has some brand guidelines and has a list of 50 SKUs for which it want to create three lifestyle images, one for each personas. And they also have like some clear documentation about the personas that they want to target. So overall, there's 150 images that they want to create. Doesn't seem a lot, but it could be very easily a very time-consuming task. So the first thing is that you need to collect all the documentation that you have about your brand guidelines. So that's what I've just shown you. You also need to collect any information that you have about the personas that you are targeting. So here there are three personas: Scandinavian, Mediterranean, and modern Japanese. So as you see here in this document, there's a lot of information, images about those different personas. And finally, you need to prepare some kind of document. I'm just going to pause a bit with all the information about, all the information about the SKUs that you want to create. So that includes the product IDs, product names, product types, and also the image URLs. And I think I just want to pause a bit on that because you don't necessarily need to upload manually all the images by yourself on the Presti Scale platform. You could have a database of all the the images that you want to create, and that's why you will feed to the AI agent. So now let's move on to the Presti Scale platform. For the ones that don't know it, I mean, it's a pretty simple chat platform like ChatGPT where you can just, interact with a kind of agent. So here what I'm doing is that I will upload the brand guidelines, the personas, the pack shots, and also giving some kind of very simplistic brief of what I'm expecting. It's basically just what I described to you. I want one SKU for each, one lifestyle image for each SKU and each persona. So then I press enter. And what the agent is going to do is go through all the documents, understand the brand guidelines, understand the personas, and it will tend to come back usually with some clarification questions. Because that's, as I said, something where I notice that people are spending time, and we want to avoid all the back and forth that might appear because things were not clear at the beginning. So it will ask you some clarification questions about typically here the aspect ratio that you want. So you just need to select the one that you prefer. It will ask you some clarifications about the output resolution, here 2K, and sometimes it's a bit more complex than that. So now that the answers are clear, it will, given the size of the project that you're running, it will always come with the plan in order to avoid wasting your credits. So let's not just create 150 images just like that. Let's make sure we have a plan on how we're going to proceed. And so that's what I'm going to show you here. So it understood the different persona. And you will see right now at the bottom a plan here, which is what it tends to do, of course, with your approval. So the plan is to first validate 3 items by hand. So it's a kind of a dry run before running the entire batch. As soon as we have your approval, it will go with a second dry run of 3 rows. So that means another SKU, and then go on the full run on all the remaining SKUs. So I think that's a fair plan because it will really avoid wasting too many credits and also time. So once you approve that plan, it will just proceed and go, and go with the first dry run of your images being created, and waiting for your approval. By the way, for the ones that are not familiar with the platform, every time there is a new images being created, a new project is being created here at the right, and here you will have all the images that were created that you can compare with the initial input. So you will see here, we can click on Start Review, and then we have the initial backshot and the final result, one for each persona. So let's say we are happy with the first dry run. The agent will continue and go with the second dry run to ensure typically that there is consistency between the first persona in the first run and the second run. So that's just to be sure that we're doing it step by step. And we've run those kind of projects at scale, and doing those dry run is really the key criteria for success. You need to really define exactly what you expect, run some tests at the beginning before proceeding with a full batch. So now we validated the second dry run, and now it's basically going with the full batch. We can go now and start the review when it's ready, and you will see all the image now appearing. You can compare them with the initial pack shot, but you can also compare them with the other comparison that you see here at the top. Just going to wait, I mean, to let you see a couple of images. They might not have been all validated, but during the next demo, I'll show you also how you can iterate without wasting too much time on putting comments and rerunning things.
This process of kind of that human in the loop review to make sure that product accuracy is there. When we've talked to, lots and lots of companies, they said that they would have had to like download an image, bring it into, I don't know, Figma, Canva, something like that to see it side by side. And this step here really consolidates that, right? Actually review in the platform, side by side, zoom into details, all of those things to make that process much more easier and consolidated.
Great. So let's move on to the next use case. This one just for some technical reason. I'll ask Jerica if you can share your screen. There will be some sound that we want to create. Jerica, are you able to share? Or I need to stop sharing?
Yep, getting it up now. Give me 1 second to make it large. All right. Mhm.
And just, while we wait, this second use case is creating an editorial video for we took a leather bag product. So, but again, it could be applied to any product category. It will be 40-second video, which is pretty long. And from what I've seen today on the platform, people tend to use us a lot for images, but that's why we really wanted to show you that videos also work really well on the platform.
Mhm.
Jerica, are you sharing?
I am. Yep. Can everyone see?
Uh, I don't see it.
Oh, it's been playing. Okay. It says that I'm sharing the screen through here,
Mm.
content and
Ah,
sound.
okay, Caitlin is seeing it, so that might just be me.
Can someone throw into the chat if you guys are
Yeah,
are not?
so basically they are able
We
to
can
see
see.
it.
Oh, good. Okay,
So that
perfect.
might be just me, so that's
Good.
not
Okay.
ideal. Uh,
Awesome.
yeah, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just share it myself because otherwise I cannot see what
Oh,
you're saying.
sure. Okay. Yep. That is hard. Yeah, I'm about 25 seconds in. So I was sharing the UGC case for the skincare content, but I'll stop sharing
Yeah,
here.
let me share that again.
Hmm.
Okay, great. So I hope Jerica, you confirm you see my screen now?
Yes. Yep. I
Okay,
can see
great.
it.
So as I said, we're going to start with this. Oops. With this bags and luggage use case, which is about creating an editorial video. So what we will do here is again upload a brand book. We're also uploading some pack shots of a leather bag. And then I'm just pausing here a bit. We are putting a pretty simple brief of the video that we want to create, which is an editorial lifestyle video of 40-second maximum for the brand called Nori, featuring its leather weekend bag during a one-day escape in Puglia. And here we're just putting some recommendation of expectation of what we want. We want alternate scenes where a man wears the bag with scenes where the product is showcased. So, and here, something very important when you want to create video is not just to ask the AI to create the video immediately because it will not work well enough. You won't have enough control on the output. So that's why the first step is always to build the storyboard first. So here, what the agent will do will be based on the information that you shared, it will create some storyline to be able to generate some storyline for the video. So here it comes with 9 scenes that you are seeing here. For each scene, there is a description of what is being expected. Of course, you can keep doing some edit with the agent in terms of like the storyline that you want to build. And once it's you approve, the brief will be validated. One thing that you need also to have in mind is that with AI today, the maximum limit in terms of video duration is 15 seconds. But it doesn't mean that you cannot create more than that. There are some people already creating some movies with AI. But the way you can do it and with the agent is just asking the agent to combine different clips, of course, making sure that the transition makes sense. And so that's what we're going to do here with the 40 seconds. We get the video. As you saw in the storyline, there were 9 scenes of 5 seconds each. So here what we're going to ask as a second step is to generate the static scenes for each scene. So that means We want to create one frame to make sure that we really control again the different part of the video. So here the agent is creating 9 images. So that's the first one, second one, third one, etc. So you will have a look at them in more details. Um, just so you know, that's the typical step where you need to ensure that there's full product integrity because you will create the 9 images and you want to make sure that the leather bag is exactly the same within the 9 frames. There might be some cases where there might be some changes. It's not very common, but that's the step where you need to ensure that you have 100% integrity. Once you're happy with the result, you can start creating the individual clips. Here it's asking again some clarification question, but you just ask for the clip duration to be as needed, and that's how we can now start the review of the different clips. So that's the first one. And what I want to show you is a process that is very important when you want to do things pretty efficiently, is putting comments here at the right. So on this first clip, let's say that I'm not very happy with how the smoke is created. So here I will put that the smoke doesn't look natural. I'll move to the second one. This one, I like it. So I will click on accept. On this third one, I don't really like how the camera moves, around the product. So I'm asking for some changes. I will reject this one. And on the other one, which are okay, so I will just accept all of those. The good thing is that when you've done all your comments, you can ask the agent to take into account all the comments that were made in the review and to rerun the ones that were rejected. And so that's how we will get 2 new suggestions only on the ones that we've rejected, the first one that you saw and this second one. So now that we're happy with the 9 clips that were created, we can merge all of them into a single one. And so we can we can ask the agent to put all the elements together, those 9 clips. And so that's why we'll get this video. And finally, we might want to put some background music, and that's unfortunately what you want here today. So we can just, put we can just put a music on top and ask the agent to combine them. And by the way, you have 2 options. Either you bring your own music, or you can just ask the agent to create the music at the same time as you're creating the video. So here again, I'm going to show you this 40-second video we've created together without the sound, but that's unfortunate. Great. So I hope that you liked it. Again, imagine it with the sound, that will be even better. And I just saw a question about the copyrights. So, of course, of when you put the music that you want, you need to make sure that you're putting the music, where you own the copyrights. And when AI is creating the music by itself, it's exactly like the image. It's a completely new sound, that doesn't exist elsewhere. Great. Are you all still seeing my screen, Jerica? You confirm?
Yes. Yep. Still
Okay,
seeing
perfect.
screen.
So again, just insisting on this video use cases, I think it's pretty powerful, and also with this new agent approach, it's not requiring as many technical skills as it used to be in the past. So I definitely recommend that that you run some tests on the Presti Scale platform. And now we're going to go with another type of video, which is what we call the UGC videos, where we'll have a subject, a character, talking and showing your products in a real life situation, which is, by the way, one of the biggest AI trends at the moment. Everyone creates a lot of UGC videos now with AI. So here, I think it's really important that you have the sound. So, Jerica, I will show the first part, and I will let you show the UGC video with the sound at the end.
Perfect.
So here we took a cosmetic product, and what I'm going to do here is just first of all create the subject, so the person that we want to be showcasing your product. So what we're doing here is describing the face of a young woman, late 20s, and really describing how she's dressed, the look of her skin, her hair, etc. And that's how we get those two options, this first one and then this second one. So let's reject that one and accept this one. The second step, when we've done that, is really to describe how we want that human to interact with the product that we're going to upload. Of course, we need to upload the pack shots of the products we want to showcase. And also, what is really important is to put the exact words that you want the subject to be saying. So I'm just going to read the words because then you will recognize that. It just says, "This is literally my secret to glowing skin every single morning. 2 steps: cleanser to fully reset and moisturizing mask for 10 minutes. That's it. I come back and my skin is absolutely glowing. No filter needed." Just remember the words. By the way, of course, they can be generated with AI if you don't have some exact wording in mind, but just showing you that you can really have a lot of control also on the wording. You can put some additional elements and details really about like how do you want the video. And of course, as I mentioned, don't forget to upload the pack shots of the two products. So a lot of details here, but again, you could put less if need. So uploading the two pack shots and then pressing enter. So it will just run a bit, and then we will have the video that will appear soon. Great. I think, Jerica, it's your turn.
Okay, very good. What slide is this in the
Uh,
presentation? Slide 10.
like
Okay,
10.
very good. Thank you. All right. Sharing it now. Okay, slide 10. Ew. I'm seeing this as upload brand files to add context. Is that what you are seeing,
No,
Hamza?
the UGC one.
Okay. That is slide 10 on mine.
Mm. Yeah, maybe go to then slide 14. Yeah.
Slide 14, thank you. All right, let me make this large and go to the
to glowing.
okay. Here we go.
This is literally my secret to glowing skin every single morning. 2 steps: cleanser to fully reset and moisturizing mask for 10 minutes. That's it. I come back and my skin is absolutely glowing, no filter needed.
Perfect.
Okay, so I hope you've been able to hear it because I haven't, but I hope you liked it. So sharing again my screen. Sorry for the back and forth. So now we're going to move on to another use case, which is on the fashion industry. It's a pretty common one, the virtual try-on. Even if you're not in this industry, you will see that this approach is pretty interesting. And I know that we have a lot of people from the home industry. There are some things that could be reused typically when you want to combine some of your products together in a specific room, for example. So on this use case, first, again, we need to prepare the brand assets. So what we're going to do here is prepare this Excel file. And what is being done here is basically we've mimicked the type of work that a stylist will do, where it will basically define various type of looks. Typically here on this first look, there is the top part of the model that needs to be wear, the bottom one, the jacket, the shoes, the vibe that is being wanted, and then the model. Here there are three models that were identified, one called Ashley, one Maya, one Zoe, and I will show you who's each model. We've done that for every look, so here a different type of combination, basically, and also depending on the model that we want. Then we need to prepare all the assets. So all of course, the clothes that we want to be combined together. And then we have the images of the different models. So Ashley, Maya, Zoe. So then what we can do is upload the Excel file plus upload the different assets. And then we ask them to create all the images, assembling the different combinations all together. Again, there are some clarifications that are being asked, and you will see that the agent was able to understand the different combinations that were in the Excel file, understand what are the different products that need to be combined with each to basically proceed with the plan. Again, it will do the same thing, which is a dry run, making sure that the first image looks good, that the process was understood correctly. And then if you validate that, it will proceed with the entire batch. And of course, as part of every production process, you need to go with some QC, ensuring that the clothes are okay compared to the initial pack shot. And yeah, you could do that on various things. Overall, the image quality, as you already aware, is really good. And you can think of something similar for various use cases. Again, I think on in the home industry, combining your products could be definitely be done that way, which is a pretty easy way. Also, one thing I wanted to show you again on the video aspects, once those images were created, it becomes very easy to, create some kind of motion. And that's what we're going to do at the end when we validated all the images. I'm basically asking to create some short videos of these looks for my product pages. And I tend to like the results. Imagine putting that on your website. That creates some kind of animation compared to this static image. And again, you do this review process of rejecting, accepting. Great. So that's it for the 4 use cases. I mean, we could have added some more. Just want to make sure I'm able also to cover some other topics. The first one, which is more about some kind of best practices cross use cases, is how to create some skills and make them reusable. So a skill, as I mentioned earlier, are some kind of instructions that are being pulled out by the agent whenever needed. One example on when you could use and create some skills is, for example, when you have some brand guidelines, you want to make sure that everyone within the company is following those brand guidelines. So what we're going to show you here is that we have like this document of like more than 20 pages with the brand guidelines of a given brand. We also have a list of icons, a list of logos, a list of photos. So all those assets will be basically uploaded on the Presti scale agent, and we will ask the agent to create some great brand guidelines, to create a skill out of it. So we're just going to say create the Borstel Burger brand skill from the attached PDF file. By the way, it doesn't have to be only one brand guidelines per team. It could be many, and depending on the kind of project that you're doing, you call one or the other.
Also, want to reiterate to Hamza that this isn't just at the user level. This is for your full company level, right? So any new user coming in defaults to these guardrails. And of course, these guardrails are not shared with anyone other outside of your organization either. This is totally locked at your level.
Yeah. Definitely. So it's a pretty long document. You don't need to read that. It's basically the agent that find a way to translate them into a way it could be easily understood. So now afterwards, whenever you want to create some things for the Borstel Burger brand, it will automatically load this skill, go through all the instructions that you've provided, and be able to create the right assets, while respecting the guidelines that were formulated. And so that's how you will get two images here. I'm going to switch to the platform here in live. So just going to the scale platform up and connecting. One easy way to first of all see all your skills is by clicking here on skills at the top right. You will have like the list of all the skills that were created. But then you can also call a skill whenever you're typing a prompt. For example, I would say here I will call that skill called demo, and then I will say I want to create a lifestyle image. So that will be basically a way to force the agent to read those instructions within demo before proceeding with the generation. Otherwise, it tends to detect automatically, but if you want to force it, you can also do it. Just to give you some other ideas about when to use skills, for example, when you have a process that you want to follow, for example, on how to create some UGC videos, meaning I want to create a storyline first, I want some approval, then I want to proceed with the static image and then proceed with the clips. You see this process that you're describing, those are instructions you can put in a skill so that anyone in the team that want to create a UGC video will follow the same process. So I hope it's clear, and feel free to create a first skill on the platform. Finally, I want to show you also the project view, which is also, I think, pretty important, because when you start creating content at scale and you start having many projects at the same time running, you have within each project a high number of assets being created. And there's this project view that is an easy way to be able to track how things are progressing. So each time you will start and initiate a conversation with the agent, it will automatically create a project. And typically here, this project was created called Martic Outdoor Table Mediterranean. This project is in the draft mode. If you want to start tracking that project, you need to put it as ready. So that means you will be able to easily see it here. And by the way, we see that project now being in progress within the project view. Then you can put a priority, you can put a status, classic things. You can put an owner, and then you can put a reviewer. You can see how the things are progressing. So for now, nothing has been validated. And then you have like some tags that you can put and the due date. So again, very useful if you want to be able to easily follow how things are progressing. You have this Kanban view, which is also pretty interesting. And you have the ability to filter things and organize things in folder whenever needed. Now let's go on a specific project. You will have always the list of SKUs and outputs that were created for each item. Imagine you are the person that generated the assets, and you finalize the creation part. You can request a review by sending an email to the person that you want. So here I will put, for example, Celine. She will receive automatically an email saying that basically this project is ready for review. And typically that reduces the time being wasted. I often see that people are just waiting for the images to be ready while they are already they've been ready for a couple of days now. So also, one thing that is important is that a project is not, once it's done, you cannot make some edits. You have the ability to continue within the project by clicking on edit in chat. You're automatically being linked to the existing project, and then you can add another item. You can, basically continue all the things you want to do in this project. Why is that important? Because when you're proceeding that way, you keep all the memory of the project. The AI agent will remember all the things you've asked in the past, and that avoids, to re-explain things from scratch every time. That's it on the project view. Don't hesitate if you have some questions. And I see that we are running out of time. I will just show you just a couple of last things that are possible, just so that you know, which is more at enterprise level. And here the scale is a bit different than what we've shown you in the past. What we've shown you were like demos on how to do, 10, 100, 1,000 images or videos. But then we had some examples where people wanted to create hundreds of thousands of images. Of course, when you do that, you reach that scale, you cannot do things manually. You need to have things 100% automated. And that's where it's become interesting to connect to connect the Presti agents to your PIM or DAM system so that it can, collect all the information automatically. We can encode your brand and category rules so that the agent has that within its memory, and then you just get automatically the output without any kind of manual control. Of course, all the use cases are not eligible to this. If you want to do that for lifestyle images, if you have a minimum level of expectation, that won't work. You will need some kind of quality control. But just showing you some use cases where you can reach 100% automation. Typically, for a kind of fashion brand, we've been able to automate the process of cropping the images based on the set of rules per product category. Typically, if you're selling the pants, I want the crop to be done that way with a specific margin on the left, on the right. And then those are the kind of outputs that you get to the right. By the way, we've done something similar also in the furniture industry. Another use case, which is pretty common for some kind of marketplace, they tend to have like initial inputs from the suppliers that were not consistent. They've defined some rules in terms of padding, shadows, backgrounds that they want to respect. And that's how they've been able to get consistent outputs here in terms of results. Showing you, by the way, the real results that were obtained, just showing you a real before and after. So initially, the images were a bit more like this with some white background. Sometimes the image was cropped not the right way, and it was possible to apply a uniform background with uniform shadows consistently across all the categories. Again, this is a pretty simple. You can definitely think about some other additional level of enhancement, knowing that this is again fully automated. No, there's no manual intervention in the process. Great. So that's it for my side. On my side, I hope this was useful. And now let's go with the questions.
Absolutely. So we had some nice discussions in the Q&A and chat, but let's go through them. The first one here is asking about the agent, right? Does it have context and understanding of other platforms? For instance, like Pinterest versus Instagram, right? Like what they need for requirements on storefront ads, all the aspect ratios and things like that, or does that need to be kind of dictated when they're generating?
So that's an interesting question. For now, it's not connected to Instagram, Pinterest, but it has knowledge on what Pinterest expects in terms of output. That's for sure. But it's not like connected it's not connected basically. But if you have some use cases you're thinking where you will need that kind of connection, we'll be happy to investigate because again, we have the brain, we have the tools. It's just adding another tool, and if that unlocks an interesting use case for you, happy to explore that together.
Perfect. And then we also got a questions about the brand guidelines template. If we had some sort of template or guidance on kind of the best way to feed that information into the agent.
Yeah, so on the brand guidelines, I would say that having a document that describes what are your brand guidelines as clearly as you would do if you were giving that to some kind of a graphic designer that doesn't necessarily have like all the knowledge of your brand and the history of project you've done, etc. So really putting everything on paper is the best thing you could give to an AI agent to really understand what the kind of the expectation that you have.
And I've seen like it done in many different forms, right? I've seen like really comprehensive like brand decks that were clearly put together by creative directors and marketing teams. I've also seen things that are just like basic chats, right? You log into Presti, the first thing you do is open up a chat that says brand standards, and you just start telling it who you are, who you sell to, what you like, what you don't like, throw in some images that have worked with, some of your previous campaigns. and then tell it like, I never want to see polished chrome or whatever it is, right? So you can do it really formal in a PDF document, right? With, marketing input or just a chat. Either way, just getting that information about who you are and doing that upon setup, I think is a key to success. Um, all right, we have other questions about the video here. Any other like aspect ratio options and like we showed it in a landscape form. Can we do one by one aspect ratio videos? What are the possibilities there?
Yeah. So by the way, we just added today the ability to create videos in 4K, which is pretty amazing. The videos tend to be capped at 2K, so that's in terms of resolution. In terms of duration, it's now a limit of 15 seconds, as I mentioned. But again, the technology is evolving so fast that you will be able to do even more. In terms of changing the aspect ratio, so for now, you have the ability really to control any aspect ratio that you want. So you just need to give that information at the beginning when you create the video. The thing that you cannot do yet on the platform is, let's say, when you create a square video and you want to transform that into a landscape. So in terms of as a kind of post-processing, you cannot do it live. But if you need that, you can just email us and we will happy to do it for you because the technology is going to be implemented soon to the event.
Great. Um, Another question is, how do I add my learnings back to the platform? So, for example, generated 10 lifestyle shots for ads, 4 worked, 6 didn't. How do I make the agent learn what works for my brand versus does not work? So it just keeps learning and getting better.
Mhm. Mm. So yeah, that's a great example. What I would recommend is maybe when you've created the images when you created the first lifestyle images that you validated, make sure you create a skill out of that. Maybe there's some kind of process learnings that you've done during that kind of process, and you want to store that in the skill. And then as soon as you will have like new images being validated, you can update the skill just by asking the agent, please, can you integrate the learnings from the validated image into my skill?
I agree. If you're going through a project, especially the first time doing something and you know you're going to do it many times over, at the end of the project, right? Because there is going to be back and forth, there's iteration. I always just ask the agent, like, what worked well? Like, give me the skill, give me a recipe card for like how to actually run this process successfully, and then update your skills accordingly, right? You have kind of full control over their skills and what goes in there. If something is not working well, sometimes I even just pause and say, like, this isn't working. Let's take a step back and like reformulate the process so we can like really think deeply about it too. But yeah, I think every time a project is done, right, kind of finessing those skills is an important step. So it does just keep getting better and faster. All right, let's see here. Before we go into it, there's a lot of our current customers on here from Presti 1.0, so a lot of questions about migration. But first, let's see here. I'm gonna just pull out some ones that are pre-migration first. How did you set up the automation to upload the picture output to a website? So I think that's referring to the PIM and to the DAM.
Yeah. So uploading automatically to the website, we've done it, for example, for a marketplace. So it's a 1 billion-dollar company. They use a Miracle. It's basically a kind of a marketplace provider that handles all the distribution of their assets. I'm pretty sure that you have something maybe similar. And so we were connected to that system in order to be able like to update automatically the images. So
Perfect.
yeah, feel free to reach out via email or call to really understand your tech stack and see what can be done.
Absolutely. All right. Let's talk about this one first. Okay, so I have lots of questions about kind of like the difference between 1.0 and 2.0. So let's do this first. If we could, let's talk about some of the like I just got a question about like how credits transfer, how credits are used, that sort of thing. We're getting a lot of questions on that.
Yeah. So,
Mhm.
I mean, first of all, the big difference is that Prezi 1.0 was, as I mentioned, a way where you were prompting an AI to create things for you. It was not an agent basically doing the work for you end to end. So there's a big difference on that. Also, this new platform is really an orchestrator that is basically pulling all the best AI models, state of the art, to bring you the best solution based on type of use case that you want to do. So also in terms of quality, I think there's no doubt that if you test this new one, you will see that it's way better than it used to be on the previous one. And then finally, in terms of migrating your credits, of course, we are offering to all our existing customers, I mean, to the ones that are still in 1.0 to switch to 2.0. We just set up a 15-minute call with you. We explain you the process, and then it's ready. You can use them on the new tool. So I think it's worth doing a one-on-one meeting, and we're really trying to have as many meetings as possible with the ones that are still using 1.0.
Yep. And questions 2 for 1.0 is still going to exist, be updated, all of those things.
So yeah, yes, it's still going to exist. I would say that 90% of people we speak to prefer this new agentic approach. There are some that are really interested in the ability to not alter any detail of the product. With the latest updates on AI, you can really get a very high product accuracy. I would say 98%, 99%. There are some that want to be at 100% and without having any doubt that things might have been changed. So in that case, I think the Presti 1.0 is the best solution for that. You lose in terms of image quality for sure. It's not as good as you could get with this new agent, but it's a choice, and we leave the option to our customers.
Absolutely. Yeah. Another customer asking if there's a way to lock the furniture in Presti scale, like there was in
Mm.
Presti 1.0. Concerned about product integrity.
Yeah.
Yep.
So no, there's no way to lock, and honestly, we don't recommend because it was really altering the image quality overall. And I don't know if you tested this new agent, but the image quality, the product accuracy is really high. Uh, yeah, uh, it's really high. So I would really recommend to not lock the pack shot.
hmm Oftentimes the locking of the pack shot too, like you had to have shot it at that exact right perspective, right? The camera angle, right, to fit it into the space. This new platform, right, allows that perspective to be corrected. This question was asked by someone who was in the trial and wondering about like certain, kind of complex pillow patterns, welts, seams, all of those things. I'm going to encourage you to reach out to me. I'll type my email in that just so I can like show you some tips and tricks on like making sure that that gets a little bit more accurate, right? Sometimes with really complex furniture, it's best to like describe the image, or if you're noticing that a welt disappeared, right? Telling the agent like you missed the welt, like take a second, right? Like review the piece and like make sure that you're getting the product accuracy. So I'm happy to walk you through that live. Just shooting my email there to this question. And great. Let's see a couple more open ones on here. All right, is there a transition period where we can fully test the platform without burning through credits before switching to the new platform? I'm imagining this is from a Presti 1.0, perhaps trialing to see if they want to move over. And 60 credits is not
Yeah.
necessarily enough. Yeah.
So we tend to, as soon as you want to test before making any decision, we're happy to give you, enough time to really run some tests.
Just reach out again, like let us know
Yeah.
you need more credits and we'll do that for you. Um, Great. I think most of this is clear. A few more questions just asking about like how credits are spent
Mm.
on that. We do have a kind of like a credit math page that
Mm.
shows like, if you are doing a 2K image, that's 3 credits, right? Spent on generation equivalent to 30 cents, right? Like we do have that math. And if you were wondering like, okay, I have this catalog and this need, how many credits will it take to get there? We're happy to help run kind of that credit calculator with you to price out like a bulk of credits, right? Can you do it in 1,000 credits? Do you need 5,000 credits? That sort of thing, the difference between like a $99 plan and something else. All right, very
Yeah.
good. And then, yep, of course, also questions about if this is going to be sent post call. And I believe we're sending out the recording tomorrow. And if you would like to have the a copy of the presentation to hear the sound on those videos, right? Just respond back to that email, and we'll shoot over the link.
Great. Maybe I will just share the screen with the just in case you want to book a demo or test it live. So just sharing my screen. So I think, yeah, don't hesitate to either try Presti, the link is scale.presti.ai, or book a demo by going on presti.ai/demo. And yeah, I hope that this webinar was useful. Don't hesitate to let us know if there are like some other topics you'd like us to deep dive on with you. And yeah, see you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jerka. Thank you, everyone.